This is lesson 463. This is a spelling dictation lesson. I will dictate words that contain the letter Y, where Y will represent its long E sound. Before I begin dictation, let's review the 6 jobs of Y. Job 1, the letter Y represents the short sound of I when it is the only vowel in a syllable and is followed by a consonant, as in the word gym. Job 2. When the letter Y is at the end of a one-syllable word and Y is the only vowel in the syllable, the letter Y represents the long sound of I, as in the word buy. The letter Y occurring by itself at the end of any syllable after the first syllable in a word normally represents the long sound of E, as in baby. And the words I dictate in this lesson are all going to fall under the category of job 3 for the Y, where Y comes at the end of 2 syllables. And when Y comes at the end of 2 syllables, the Y normally represents the long E sound. Sometimes the letter Y at the end of any syllable after the first syllable will represent the long sound of I, as in lullaby. But most of the time, when Y comes at the end of any syllable after the first syllable in the word, it represents the long E sound. And Y has 2 long sounds. The first long sound of Y is the long I sound, as you hear in the word buy or lullaby. The second long sound for Y is the long E sound that you hear in the word baby. When Y represents its second long sound, you double underline the Y to indicate Y is representing its second long sound, which is the E sound. Job 4 of the Y, when 2 vowels in one syllable are separated by 1 or more consonants, and the first vowel is the letter Y, and the second vowel is a silent letter E, then the letter Y represents the long sound of I, and the letter E is silent, as in the word style. Job 5. The letter Y is part of the vowel teams AY, EY, and OY. In these 3 teams, the letter Y is silent. And we have examples: pay, key, boy. Finally, the letter Y is a consonant at the beginning of any syllable in a word, such as in yard and yo-yo. So when Y represents its consonant sound, it's y. Let's review the 6 jobs of Y. Job 1. In the word gym, you have 1 vowel in the word followed by a consonant. In that instance, the Y will represent the short I sound, I, as in gym. Job 2. When Y comes at the end of the first syllable in a word, then the Y will represent the long I sound, as in buy. Job 3. When Y comes at the end of 2 or more syllables, normally it represents its second long sound, which is the sound E. And when Y represents the sound E, you double underline the Y. That's the second long sound for the vowel Y. And the words that we're going to dictate in this lesson will all contain Y at the end of 2 syllables, where Y will represent its second long sound. Job 4. When Y comes in the middle of a syllable, by itself, followed by a consonant, followed then by a silent E, the silent E causes the Y to represent its long sound, and that sound is I, as in the word style. Job 5. Y is part of the vowel teams AY, EY, and OY. In all of these teams, the Y is silent. AY represents the long A sound, A as in pray. EY, the long E sound, E as in key. OY represents the sound OI, as in toy. And finally, job 6. When Y is at the beginning of any syllable in a word, it's going to be a consonant, and Y as a consonant represents the sound Y, as in yard. We begin dictation now. 10 rows of words. As I said, all of the words in this lesson will contain Y at the end of 2 syllables, and Y at the end of 2 syllables normally represents the long E sound. Remember, Y has 2 long sounds. the long I sound, as in buy, but it also represents the long E sound, as in baby. When Y represents its second long sound, E, double underline the Y to indicate the Y is representing its second long sound. We begin with row 1. Cry, cry. Please don't cry, cry. 3 sounds, k, r, I. Cry. Now, the first step in marking a word is to determine if the word has any teams, vowel or consonant teams, if a letter is representing its second sound, or if there is a silent E in the word. None of those elements are present in this word. The next step is to identify the vowel sounds. We have one vowel sound in this word, and now we associate a vowel group number with the vowel. Vowel group 2 is in effect. Y at the end of one syllable will normally represent its long I sound, cry. Yams, yams. Let's have some yams for dinner. Yams. 4 sounds, y, a, z. Yams. Now let's mark this word first by looking for any consonant or vowel teams, looking to see if any letter represents its second sound in this word, and also looking to see if we have a silent E. We do have a letter representing its second sound S, so now we double underline that S. Next, we identify our vowel sounds. We have one vowel sound in this word. No need to divide the word. We just associate a vowel group number with the vowel sound. Vowel group 1 is in effect here. We have one vowel followed by a consonant. The vowel will represent its short sound. The word again is yams. Play, play. Let the children play. Play. 3 sounds, p, l, a. Play. The first thing we do to mark this word is look for teams, look to see if any letters represent their second sounds, and identify a silent E in the word if one is there. In this word, we do have a team, AY, so we underline it. Next, we identify vowel sounds. One vowel sound, one syllable. Next, we associate a vowel group number with the vowel. Vowel group 4 is in effect. The first vowel in the team AY represents its long A sound. The word is play. Bay, bay. The ship was sailing in the bay. Bay. 2 sounds, b, a. Bay. Now at this point, pause the video, mark the word, and once you've completed marking the word, advance the video to check your marking against the marking in the video. Bay. Row 2, stay. Stay. Can't you stay a while? Stay. 3 sounds, s, t, a. Stay. Pause the video and mark this word. When you're ready, advance the video screen. Stay. Fancy. Fancy. My, that's a fancy outfit. Fancy. First syllable, fan. 3 sounds, f, a, n. C. 2 sounds, s, e. Fancy. Mark the word. Fancy. In this word, C is followed by Y, causing the C to represent its second sound. When C is followed by E, I, or Y, it will almost always represent its second sound. Remember, the difference between C and G in terms of the second sound those letters represent is when C is followed by E, I, or Y, it almost in every instance will represent its second sound. However, when G is followed by E, I, or Y, sometimes it will represent its second sound and sometimes it will not. Also, we double underline Y because Y is representing its second long sound in this word. When Y is at the end of 2 or more syllables, it normally will represent the sound E. When Y represents the sound E, that's considered to be the second long sound for Y, and you double underline it. when Y comes at the end of a one-syllable word, Y will represent the long I sound, and you don't make any special mark to the word. So again, when Y represents the long E sound, you double underline the Y. The next word is fly. Fly, fly me to the moon. Fly, 3 sounds. F, L, I. Fly, mark the word. Fly. Bounty, bounty. He is a bounty hunter. Bounty. Boun, 3 sounds. B, ow, n. T, 2 sounds. T, e. Boun, T. Mark the word. Boun, T. Here again, Y is representing its second long sound E, so we double underline the Y. Again, normally, when Y comes at the end of 2 or more syllables, Y does represent the long E sound. However, there are a number of words where Y will come at the end of 2 or more syllables and represent the long I sound instead, in which case no special mark is made to the Y. Row 3, crypt. Crypt. They visited the crypt at the cemetery. Crypt. 5 sounds. K, R, I, P, T. Crypt. Mark the word. Crypt. Yammer. Yammer. He stood about and did yammer all afternoon. Yammer. Yam. 3 sounds. Y, A, M. Mur, 2 sounds. Yam, mur. Mark the word. Yam, mur. Gym. Gym. I am going to go to the gym to work out. Gym. 3 sounds. J, I, M. Gym. Mark the word. Gym. When Y is in a one-syllable word followed by a consonant, it represents its short sound. G is followed by the letter Y here, and G is representing the J sound, J. And of course, we have another way to spell this word, Jim, J-I-M, which is a person's name. Type. Type. I know how to type. Type. 3 sounds. T, I, P. Type. Mark the word. Type. When Y is in a word followed by a consonant followed by a silent E, the Y is going to represent the long I sound. Row 4, okay. Okay, everyone is okay, I hope. Okay. First syllable, O. Second syllable, K, 2 sounds. K, A. Okay. Mark the word. Okay. Imply. Imply. I did not mean to imply anything by that statement. Imply. First syllable, M, 2 sounds. I, M. Ply, 3 sounds. P, L, I. Imply. Mark the word. Imply. Now here Y is at the end of 2 syllables, and you can see it's representing the long I sound, so we don't double underline the Y here. Again, normally when Y comes at the end of 2 or more syllables, it will represent the long E sound, in which case we would double underline it. But there are a number of words where Y comes at the end of 2 or more syllables and represents the long I sound, such as this word imply. And again, we don't do anything special to the Y in that instance. Tray. Tray. Please stack your tray over there. Tray. 3 sounds. T, R, A. Tray. Mark the word. Tray. City. City. I like to live in the city. City. 2 syllables. First syllable, si, 2 sounds. S, I. T, 2 sounds. T, E. City. Mark the word. City. Row 5, deny. Deny. I deny everything. Deny. D has 2 sounds. D, E. Nigh has two sounds. N, I. Deny. Mark the word. Deny. Here again, Y is at the end of two syllables. However, it's representing the long I sound, so no special mark is made to that letter. Ply. Ply. The captain did ply the waters in his ship. Ply. Three sounds. P, l, I. Ply. Mark the word. Ply. Baggy. Baggy. He wore baggy pants. Baggy. Bag. Three sounds. B, a, g. Gee. Two sounds. G, e. Baggy. Mark the word. Baggy. Yet. Yet. We will yet find out the truth. Yet. Three sounds. Y, e, t. Yet. Mark the word. Yet. When Y comes at the beginning of any syllable in a word, it's a consonant and represents the sound Y. Row 6. Army. Army. She will join the army. Army. Two syllables. First syllable R, one sound. Me, two sounds. E. Army. Mark the word. Army. Cyst. Cyst. The surgeon removed a cyst. Cyst. Four sounds. S, I, s, t. Cyst. Mark the word. Cyst. Lay. Lay. The dog lay on the pavement. Lay. Two sounds. Ol, a. Lay. Mark the word. Lay. Decry. Decry. I decry this injustice. Decry. D has two sounds. D, e. Cry. Three sounds. K, r, I. Decry. Mark the word. Decry. CR is a blend here, so we put half circles under the C and the R. Now it counts as a unit of one when we're determining where to divide the word into syllables. Row 7, poppy. Poppy. I would like a poppy seed bagel. Poppy. Two syllables. First syllable pop, three sounds. P, a, p. P, two sounds. P, e. Pop, p. Mark the word. Poppy. Bony. Bony. Be careful, this fish is bony. Bony. Two syllables. First syllable bow, two sounds. B, o. Knee. Two sounds. N, e. Bony. Mark the word. Bony. Syrup. Syrup. I like syrup with pancakes. Syrup. Two syllables. First syllable si, two sounds. S, I. Rup. Three sounds. R, p. Syrup. Mark the word. Syrup. Try. Try. Give it one more try. Try. Three sounds. T, r, I. Try. Mark the word. Try. Row 8. Yen. Yen. I have a yen to go have some food. Yen. Three sounds. Y, e, n. Yen. Mark the word. Yen. Manly. Manly. He has a very manly manner about him. Manly. Man. Three sounds. A, n. Lee. Two sounds. L, e. Manly. Mark the word. Manly. Lousy. Lousy. I feel lousy today. Lousy. Low. Two sounds. L, ow. Z. Two sounds. Z, e. Lousy. Mark the word. Lousy. Pray. Pray. Let us pray. Three sounds. P, r, a. Pray. Mark the word. Pray. Row 9, spy. Spy. It is not right to spy on people. Spy. Three sounds. S, p, I. Spy. Mark the word. Spy. Clay. Clay. I have a clay pot. Clay. Three sounds. K, l, a. Clay. Mark the word. Clay. Pygmy. Pygmy. Pygmy refers to the size of a person being small. Pygmy. Two syllables. First syllable pig. Three sounds. P, I, g. Me. Two sounds. M, e. Pig me. Mark the word. Pig me. Myth. Myth. That story is a myth. Myth. Three sounds. M, I, th. Myth. Mark the word. Myth. Notice TH is representing its first sound, th, so we underline it once. When TH represents the sound th, which is the voiced sound for TH, we would double underline the TH team. Our final row 10, body. Body. The body was found in the woods. Body. Ba, two sounds. B, ah. D, two sounds. D, e. Body. Mark the word. Body. Gravy. Gravy. Pour some gravy on the potatoes. Gravy. Gray. Three sounds. G, r, a. V, two sounds. V, e. Gravy. Mark the word. Gravy. Dry. Dry. Keep your powder dry. Dry. Three sounds. D, r, I. Dry. Mark the word. Dry. Yellow. Yellow. I love the vibrant color yellow. Yellow. Two syllables. First syllable yell. Three sounds. Y, e, l. Low. Two sounds. L, o. Yellow. Mark the word. Yellow. And this completes the dictation of words from lesson 463.